Hello everyone. So today we will see what are the test fixtures available in Playwright and how to use this fixture, what is the fixture and all. Okay. So what is a test fixture and what are the built-in fixtures available in a Playwright? Okay. So Playwright fixture are powerful mechanism for test setup and teardown. Okay, that help to manage the test dependencies like cleaning, reusable way. Okay, so there are like we'll see like multiple fixtures available, but let's understand like fixtures in Playwright. What is the benefit actually? So if you see here, it provide isolated test environment for each test, reusable setup and teardown logic, dependency injection into your test. So what are the fixtures available in Playwright? So Playwright provide these 5 fixtures, okay, which are built in, and we can write our own custom fixtures also, that we'll see later. But first understand what are these fixtures and how to use this. So first one is the page fixture. So this provides a new browser page for each test. Second is context, a new browser context. Okay, and then third is browser, the browser instance, the browser name, the name of the browser currently running the test. You can pass either Chromium, Firefox, WebKit, and the last one is the request, API testing client. Okay, so these are the different fixtures are available. Now let me practically explain you how to use these fixtures in Playwright and how it will benefit. Okay, so I'll write here fixture. Let me create new class, fixtures dot spec dot ts. So to start writing test, I need to import first test, and this test will come from Playwright test. Okay, at the rate Playwright test. And then to start writing class, I need to use test. So this one test block is considered as one test case. So here I'll write fixture demo test, and the second parameter you can pass a arrow function with async. Now inside this one, let's understand like how to use the fixtures. Okay, so we discuss different fixtures are available in the Playwright, right? So now let me start with one by one. So if you see this arrow function, so inside function we have to pass the fixture name. Okay, so what are the fixtures I mentioned? Like I mentioned the browser. Okay, but we have to give this bracket so that Playwright will understand this is a inbuilt fixture, not a parameter like string parameter. And we can have a multiple fixtures also, like if you need another fixture you can use like this page, another is context is one fixture, right? So let me go to another one. So we use page, context, browser. So we have browser name and request. Okay, context, browser name and request. Okay, so total 5 we have added here, right? So this is how we have to pass the fixture to our test case. Now if you see there is no error, right, and it is little grayed out, so that means we are still not using this fixture in our test case. So if I write some other string here, let's say apple, and you see it will not work because this is not a valid fixture, okay, in the Playwright, and there is no fixture created with this name also. So these are the inbuilt fixture. So let's understand when to use this browser fixture. Okay, so browser fixture. So let me give the example. Okay, so understanding the browser's fixture. Okay, so let's see, I want the browser name or version. Okay, so we can get it using this fixture, and you can think about like these fixtures are like global variables. So whatever the browser you have configured in the Playwright config, that will try here. You don't need to write any code to read it or construct it. Okay, so let's see how we can print the browser. Let's say console.log, and inside this I will use browser dot browser type. Okay, dot name, and this should print the browser name actually. Okay, so let me add here string also, browser type, so that we can see this output inside the console. And this is a variable, so you have to put inside dollar, and here you have to use a backtick actually. So this is the symbol of backtick, not single quote. Okay, and so once this is done, it will print the browser. So if you see, like, we are just passing the fixture and we are able to read the browser name from out of it. Okay, we can run it from here, and if you see, the browser type is Chromium. Okay, so we have set the Chrome browser, so it is printing that one. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Okay, so let's see what else we can do with this browser fixture. So let's say I want to open a browser. Okay, so and navigate to some application, and I want to manage some cookies and all this thing. So in that case, you can use this browser fixture also. Okay, so let me explain here. Okay, so I'll create one variable here. Let's say const. I'll give the name context equal to browser dot new context. Okay, so you can think about it is like it's like your incognito mode. Okay, so for now I'll just put here browser context. Okay, and that's how you got a new incognito mode browser. And now you can use this context to navigate to any website. Sorry, from this context, because it will just create a incognito mode. Now using this I can create a new page. So using this I can create a new page here. Okay, and why it is asking await here, because we have to add await here also, and then it will work fine. Okay, if you see here, now using this context we are opening some tab here. Let's consider this is page, and you can navigate to website using this page dot go to, and in bracket I'll put https://google.com. so if you see, like, if you miss the await, it will add here. Okay, so don't miss to add await whenever you are performing any action. And now here if I write page, it will work. Okay, so what we are doing, the first example we have seen, like, we can get the browser, we can print the name, version also. Similarly, using browser you can create a context here. Okay, so what will happen here, it is a shared across all the tests to optimize the resources. So the browser fixture is shared across the test. So if I have this test, I have another test also, it is shared across all the test actually, it is not for this test only. Okay, and using that we have created this context, and then we have created a new page inside the browser. Okay, it's like fresh tab you have opened, and in that you have navigated. But when to use this browser new context? So let's say this browser context take a different browser context option. Okay, so if you like, it's a browser capabilities. If you want to work with cookies, history, or plugins, so all these parameter you have to pass here. Okay, this is like advanced thing, so we will see in later videos. But for now we don't want to deal with all these things, cookies and all these things. So in that case, actually these two lines are not required. Okay, so even if I comment these lines, my code will work fine, because whenever you are not dealing with any browser capabilities or cookies, you can directly use the page context. Okay, so first we have seen browser. Let me create another test so it will be easy to understand. I'll just copy and paste it again, and here instead of browser I will use the page context. So page context means you don't need actually to create all these things. Okay, you can directly use the page context. Okay, so this will automatically, okay, so this will automatically execute these two lines. It will create a browser new context, it will create a new page, and it will navigate also. So these two lines of code get executed by Playwright internally. But when to add this code? Whenever you want to pass some cookies or some browser related properties, you can use these two lines. Otherwise these lines are not required. Okay, so we have seen two fixtures. First one is the browser, and then here we have understood page fixture also. Okay, when to use page fixture and when to use a browser fixture. Let me close it. Okay, I hope this is clear. Browser fixture and page fixture. Page fixture, you can directly go to that page also. So if I click run here, it should work. Why it is not working? Because I miss await keyword. Okay, so don't forget this await keyword. Now if I rerun it again, my test will pass. Okay, so now test is pass. Similarly, this test is also in working condition. So if I run this also, this test also will run. Again here also we miss await. Let me add await, and now if I run it, this test also should get pass. Okay, it is pass. Okay, so two things we have covered. Page, it is isolated page for this test run. Okay, so page is specific to this test run, and the browser is shared across the test. Okay, so the browser is shared across the multiple tests. We can access it in another test also. Same, let's say I logged into the some website and I don't need to log in again to run another test case, so we can do it automatically. Okay, so because it is shared across multiple tests. Third is the browser name is there. Okay, so how to use the browser name fixture? So we can pass the browsers here. Okay, Chromium, Firefox, WebKit, browser name fixture. So if I write here browser name, and then I can add a condition here. Okay, if the browser name is this, then perform some action. Let me do it now. So I need to change the name also little bit. Okay, so let me add here condition. If browser name equal to Firefox, in that case I want to navigate to some other website, await like page.go2 and some website here, and I can use the multiple fixture also. Let's say I need page now here. Okay, because I am using page fixture here, page.go2, and inside this I can pass https://google.com. else, okay, await page.go2, I will navigate to Amazon website, https://amazon.in. Okay, so what we are doing, using this browser fixture, we can check. Okay, browser name fixture, we can check what is the name of browser. So it is Chromium actually currently, so it should go to Amazon, and let's see what happen. So it run very quickly. Okay, so let me run through terminal, because we'll be able to see the UI also. Okay, there are multiple tests, so all three tests are running. Okay, so you see one should go to Amazon actually. Okay, it is running very fast, so you see it is navigated to Amazon website. The reason is the browser name fixture has all the details about the browser, so it know like we are using the another Chromium browser, so it went into the else case. Okay, so the use of this browser name is to write a browser specific test logic. So if you want to write some browser specific test logic, you can use it. Pages interact with page, web page. Okay, it is like commonly used actually in most of the script, and we have seen browser also. So access the browser type, version also we can accept, or create a browser instance. Okay, context is the new one. So let's see what is the context now. So even if you go to the Playwright website, you will see here context. So page is isolated page for it test run, but the context is isolated for this test run. Okay, and the page fixture belong to this context. Okay, so page fixture is also belong to the context only. So from context also we can get a page. Okay, so let's see how we can use the context here, and last is we will discuss about the request. Okay, so let me take an example. Okay, so in the context fixture, so we'll see the difference also, because it's confusing what is context fixture and browser fixture. So here I will write 3, and this is a context fixture. So here also I'll write context. Okay, and let me delete this code. Okay, so the difference is, browser is your actual browser application like Chrome, Firefox or Safari, but context is a like one session, isolated session. Okay, one session you can consider, and the context is fully isolated, whereas browser is, we can share the same browser. Okay, we can share the cookies between the different browser instances. Okay, and when to use the browser, when you want to, typical use cases like browser level operations if you want to do, and this context, which is a separate session, isolated session, when you want to do something with test isolation with separate session, you can use the context. So now we will see the example. Okay, so let me, because it is isolated, for this test fixture demo 3, I'll use page here. Okay, let me add page picture also, and then page dot go to, I'll navigate to some website. Let's see, https://roboticqa.com, and then I want to add some cookies here. Okay, or even if you don't want to use page also, we can do that one. Let's say using just context dot add cookies. So we can add cookies for this session, opening closing bracket, and inside this you can use the array, and inside array we can write the cookies actually in the JSON format. So here let me write name value as test, comma, URL equal to, sorry, URL colon https://roboticqa.com. Okay, and if you want to pass something else, like let's say value also, value equal to 1 to 3. Okay, so that's how like we can pass the different things to the context. Okay, so for this context I am setting some cookies here. This is the syntax of setting cookies. Now I have a context. Okay, so next what I can do, I can create a page out of it, like const page equal to await from this context dot new page. So new page is created with this, all these cookies information now. Okay, all these cookies information. You see, I am not importing page fixture, but even I am able to get the page from it, right? And once we get a page, then you can navigate also. So this is, we added just for example, but here let me add await page dot go to this URL, and then I want to get cookies, const cookies equal to await context dot cookies. Okay, so we can print these cookies also, console dot logger, and here I can write cookies plus cookies. Okay, so what we are doing, because the context is used to create a session in a browser, like it incognito session, and in this we are adding some proxy cookies, then we are creating page, navigating to website, getting the cookies and printing it. Okay, so let me run this one. So it's running, and if you see here, it printed it actually, but it printed as an object, so we can convert it to the string also and print it. Let me see this one. Or you can, okay, even if you don't want to print, okay, so it will not print like that. We have to use like, then once we get these cookies, then, or we can use expect also, like assertion also. So we have to import this assert also. Okay, it is already imported from the Playwright test. So there are assertions also, so I can use expect cookies dot to contain or equal expect dot object containing, and here I can validate if it contain name as a test. Okay, so we are just validating the cookie should contain this cookie name equal to test. If it is not there, it will fail. Okay, so let me run, and it should run because it contain, my cookie contain test, right? It passed. So let me write test 1 2 3, and now let me run it. It should fail, and you see it failed because the cookie does not contain test 1 2 3. Okay, so I hope you understood what is the context, what is the difference between context and browser name, and the page fixture also we have covered. So next we will cover the last one is, which is a request. So now let's see the last one, request, isolated API request instance for this test. Okay, so using this API, let me copy one fixture, one test case to demonstrate the request fixture. Okay, API request fixture demo. Okay, here I will add request, and here I will add request fixture. Now let me delete this thing. Okay, so let's say I want to hit some endpoint. Okay, I want to hit some endpoint. So let's see, maybe we will take RESREQ API. You can take any APIs actually, but I'm just taking this some sample API. Okay, let me go get free key. Where is the actual API? RESREQ API. Okay, Swagger UI is also there. I think this will be good. Let's see if we can use this one. Okay, try it out, and it is giving the response. So this API also we can try. So I need to copy this actually. So it is resreq.in API. Till API I need to copy it. This is endpoint. Okay, and how we can use this to call an API? Let's say const request. Okay, sorry, not a request, we should get a response, right? So left side response, and then I will use await this request fixture dot, I want to perform get operation, and in this one I'll pass the URL. Okay, paste it here and pass the endpoint also. Okay, so resources is the endpoint, right? So let me use this resources endpoint. Resources. Okay, and once you hit this get, you will get a response, right? Import in this expect. So in expect we can pass response dot status dot to be and whatever the status we are expecting, 200. Okay, and that's how we can use this request fixture to perform like API request like get, post. Okay, let me run here, and it failed because expected 200, we got 401. Okay, because we are not passing the authorization like API key and all this detail, but it's fine, like we are just using it for the demonstration purpose. And if you see, like we are able to hit the API, we are getting the 401 also. Similarly, we can pass the API key and these details also. So if you go to this website, so here we need to get the key actually. Okay, so we already got the key, so this is your key. So we have to pass to the header. So let's see how to pass this header. Okay, let me try adding this key, copy it, and I will go to the script, and here after we are using the get. Okay, so let me remove this also. Okay, once we hit it, second parameter we can pass array, and inside this one I can pass the headers. Okay, header, you see header is there, colon, again open some bracket and paste this one. So here you need to put in single quote, key in the single quote, and value also you have to put in single quote. Okay, so this is the key I got, and then I can add that assertion here to print the or verify the response. Expect response dot status dot to be 200. Okay, so we are adding header, and inside header we are passing the key, and you see it is passed now because previously it failed because we were missing this key. So we have passed and it is now working. Okay, so let me recall it. Okay, so what we have covered, we covered the browser. Okay, so which is like actual browse, your actual browser. Okay, the context is isolated environment, like if you want to pass cookies, storage, anything. Okay, you can use the context. Page is like okay, if you want to directly access without passing cookies, anything, you can just use page to navigate to the application. We have seen browser name to if you want to do some conditionally based on the browser name, and we have seen API also lastly, like we can hit any kind of request here, get, post. Okay, so everything will be taken care by the Playwright internally to set up, create the request, everything we can use as a fixture. So these are the 5 fixtures are there. So I'll create so this is very basic one. Okay,